Okay, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classic Known Classics. This is episode number 2068, Doubleshot 1962. I have, of course, a Batman trade and a trade related Power Girl, like I mentioned last video. First up, we have Batman Shadows of the Bat. This is House of Gotham. This is the backup feature from Detective Comics 1047 to 1058. Yep. Now, of course, these issues here are written by Matthew Rosenberg. Yep. Now, I believe after this run wrapped up, I don't remember if they did start doing backup. I think they may or may not have stopped backup stories when Ram V took over the book. I'm not sure. Most of this book is focused on the perspective of one character. A character who has no name. It's a redhead kid. We see him grow up during Gotham. At one point, we see him during the events of Nightfall. Yes, and he's working with people like Scarecrow, Bane. Apparently, he got his first job working for the frickin' Penguin at Iceberg Lounge. Yep. Yeah, and here's the weird thing. Boy's never named. It's a book. He just protects like homeless people. Just feed them. Yeah, Batman sort of gets involved. He's there at the start of the storyline. He's at the very end. But the Bruce Wayne Batman is hardly even seen in the storyline. Just like in the main story, The Tower, he is just not really there, per se. He's like a supporting character in his own book. Yeah, I have no idea why Margaret Tamakagi did that for The Tower, and of course Matthew Rosberg doing it with House of Gotham. And we just see this kid kind of grow up and gets a bit older. He gets almost like a beard. His appearance reminds me a lot of WWE wrestler Sami Zayn, with the long hair and the red beard. I mean, with the exception, if you think about Down Mask, it's like basically the artist just ripped off Sami Zayn. Now, aside from having Matthew Rosberg on the artwork, by the way, in case you're curious, it's the same artist who does the main book. Well, first of which we actually have, I believe this is, Fernando Benico. The cover here, this is actually done by Lee Majero, yes, who is a really good artist. And no, I've never met him. Pardon me, yes. So, pretty much in the way, so it's kind of dealing with one kid's perspective on the history of Batman. Him growing up when he was like a little kid, and him basically killed at the end of the storyline by the Penguin. And Penguin points out, though, you're a minor character, no one knows your name, so he just apparently kills him off screen, and we see his dead body, and that's it for him. It's a pretty good storyline. I actually like The Tower a lot more. The only reason I got this because I really enjoy Detective Comics. Yep. I don't really think I say anything bad about this storyline here. I know one person basically disagrees with me on the opinion of the Tower story arc. This one, I don't know if he has an opinion on this one. I have no idea. Thinking Critical has an opinion on this one. I kind of like this because of all the Batman villains. By the way, Nightfall, he actually runs into the Azrael Batman. And he's there with Tim Drake when he's Robin. Yeah, it's strange, so they reference, of all things, frickin' Nightfall. Yes, it is by far the only major story we actually reference in here. Nightfall. Yep. I give this book roughly 9 out of 10. Next up is the book that features Power Girl. For one issue. We have Mr. Terrific. Yes. Which is Mr. Terrific Volume 1, Mind Games. This, believe it or not, was a short-lived title, and it was canceled after only 8 issues. Yeah, it was one of those first-wave titles that was canceled due to low sales. Now, aside from this, the only art book left to review that was canceled during 8 issues was Static Shock. Yeah, I've heard someone describe the dialogue as 80s-style dialogue. Now, in terms of the reboot New 52 continuity, which we still use this very day, this book first issue was his debut appearance, Michael Holt. He still has the free play tattoo on his arm, which, yeah, and by the way, this outfit, he would wear this outfit up until 2018. Yeah, he wore this outfit for like 7 years, he wore this outfit. And then for some strange reason, he decided to switch back to his pre-Flashpoint look for some reason. Like he still has the free play look. There's no mention of Terry Salone in here. Now, mostly put, the way he's written here by Eric Wallace. It's like he's written sort of like the pre-Flashpoint Michael Holt, except different costume. And apparently also he's dating Power Girl. Yeah, Power Girl is making her debut in the opening issue, but she's not sitting in after this opening issue. Like, here's Mr. Terrific making his debut in the New 52 continuity. Yep. And if you're curious, when's the first time we see Power Girl, you might ask? Well, we don't see her for quite some time. We do see Paula. Yes, Paula. Which, of course, like a pre-Flashpoint, she died. Now, she died in a car crash. Here, apparently, she was shot in the street. And apparently, she was pregnant. In pre-Flashpoint, they revealed this after she died, she actually was pregnant. And, of course, and here's Power Girl. Yep, here's Power Girl. Well, Karen Starr, but yeah, that's Power Girl making her debut. And she's been reduced to being Michael Holt's girlfriend. Which, by the way, after this book is concluded, when these two, by the way, do these two interact with each other in the Earth 2 book? No, they do not. For some reason, this relationship was never mentioned outside this book. Like, oh, these two dated. Okay. The only book that's mentioned is World's Finest. Yep. So, yeah, also put Michael be a hero. At one point, they have Andrew Lincoln from the Blackhawks book attempt to arrest him when he saved the city. But lucky enough, basically, the media press basically gets him off him. Yep. We also have French Steve here. It's actually a pretty good book. I enjoy this. I don't really get why this book was canceled. I mean, it's not a terrible book per se. It's just that I think some people still think of Mr. Terrific as just a member of the JSA. Him on his own feels kind of weird. But here's the weird thing. Right after this book concluded, his next appearance was in DC Universe Presents #0, where he opened a portal to Earth 2 and then being a part of the Earth 2 comic book. I give this book a 9 out of 10. Yeah, and then he was in that entire Earth 2 comic, and then he was in Earth 2 Society, and then after that book concluded, then he returned to Prime Earth, which they don't really explain how the heck this frickin' happened. Yeah, this is something they never bother to explain. It's like, oh, he's on Prime Earth now. Okay. Well, he takes a minor role in Dark Knight's Dark Knight's Metal. And then he gets the Terrifics book immediately afterwards. An excellent series, by the way. Most recently, he was featured as sort of a recurring character page of Flash. Yep. But Mr. Terrific, an excellent character. But, by the way, in case you're curious, though, who does the artwork here? The artwork is done by three different artists. We have... We have Galuta, Scott Clark, and Oliver Nomi. Yeah, and in the case of the writer of this book, Eric Wallace, I've never seen him in any other book aside from this one. You think, really? Yeah, really. It's kind of weird. Yeah, it's by far one of the most weirdest things related to this character. Yes. Well, for this writer, where he's featured for this book here. Now, as far as I can tell for a writer, aside from this book, well, apparently he was the writer for Titans. He was the writer for the Villains for Hire stuff. Okay. Which most has in trade. He wrote the Shazam Volume 2 #1 one-shot, which came out in 2011. Yeah, he wrote that. He wrote Final Crisis Aftermath Inc., which focused on the Tattoo Man. The DC Universe Holiday Special #1. Uh, yeah, I think that was mostly it. hmm I mean, I don't think he's been. Well, let's see. Apparently, he did something for the Rise of the Black Lanterns trade. I'm looking at the issues. I don't think he did a single one. Maybe he just wrote some from forward. I'm not sure. He probably wrote something. Let's see. Was it Green Arrow? No. Oh, he wrote the Power Shazam issue. Yeah, that's what he wrote. So he came out to DC around 2010, and he didn't really do actually around '08. It's like he didn't do a lot at DC, and I think that once his book wrapped up, and here's kind of the weird thing. Apparently, he wrote some episodes of The Flash. Yeah, he wrote episodes of The Flash. And apparently, one of the episodes he wrote, like here's one for you. He wrote the first episode of season 4 of The Flash, which came out about 5 years ago. He wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 episodes of Flash. Okay. So I think the reason why he doesn't do comics anymore is because he was writing Flash. Yeah. And by the way, these episodes he may have heard of that he wrote. Look up besides Flash, where he did Therefore Arm, Armageddon Part 1, Blocked, Infinite Crisis, Crisis Infinite Part 3, Elseworlds Part 1, Heart of Mana Part 1 Part 2, Into the Void, King Shark vs. Gorilla Grodd, Legacy, Mother, Negative Part 2, Run Iris Run, We Are the Flash. Which I believe this was like the final episode of. Let's see. Yeah, that was like the final episode of season 4. It's like most of the episodes he wrote were just for season 4. And I don't think he does much anything else. No, he doesn't. But I think like one of the other early comics he wrote was Titans Volume 2 of 14, which came out in 2009. Yeah, it's like he did the Halloween issue, he did this issue here, the Power Shazam issue, he did the Titans book, which did the annual and the Villains for Hire issue. The annual itself, it just basically deals with the Villains for Hire group. And this is a run that's mostly not in trade. Yeah, but this is one thing he's actually done. So there's actually a couple things I have technically reviewed. I have reviewed Rise of Black Lanterns. It's a really good trade. I'm going to give this book a 9 out of 10. But I haven't really reviewed that much by the guy. Not really, no. I wish I could give you more, but... And here's also kind of weird thing. Like, I think that when he wrapped this book, I think that was the last book he ever did for DC. Yeah, it's like Mr. Terrific number 8 was like the last issue he ever did. Yeah, and Mr. Terrific's wife, she just dies back in issue 1. Now, it's kind of weird though the fact that he's gone back to his pre-Flashpoint outfit. I'm not really sure exactly the reason for this, but he did. Yeah. It's kind of weird when it comes to him, but he's still active. I at least gotta praise the fact he's still active in DC Universe. Yep. But yeah, that's... Oh yeah, by the way, he did also appear in the Tom King Strange Adventure series, which I have discussed that one. Yep. But I want to say about these two trades, both good. Okay, so that's the particular review. Next up is it wrong to have a girl's dungeon? Okay, next video. Bye.